What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chris's MMA Universe. For this video here, I'm going to be talking about a potential fight between DC and Jon Jones. If Jon Jones versus DC3 will actually happen. I know DC was talking about fighting Jon Jones as his last fight on his way out, but he wants to fight him at 205. When Jon Jones was asked this question, thinking that would DC actually come down to fight him again, Jon Jones is saying no, he's not going to do it. The reason why Jon Jones, at least in a recent interview, said he does not think Jon Jones does not think that DC is actually going to come down back to 205 to actually fight him. Because I guess according to Jon Jones, or according to a lot of people, DC is like as heavy as he's ever been. Like, he's heavy as ever right now. And for him to actually cut all of that weight to come down to 205 again, I believe will drain him. And while Jon Jones was saying he believes it will be completely draining. And for him to come up short a third time for his way out fight, I believe would just kind of hurt his legacy. You know, him losing to Jon Jones 3 times out of their 3 fights. I know one was considered a no contest, but no contest or not, I mean, the first fight with Jon Jones and DC, it was a unanimous decision victory where it was just completely one-sided on Jon Jones. Nobody thought that was controversial whatsoever. It was Jon Jones' fight all the way for their first fight. And when they fought the second time, UFC 214, Jon Jones, whether that was a no contest fight or not, because that one was the one that was considered no contest because Jon Jones ended up testing abnormally after that fight, where the test results came back abnormal. So it was considered a no contest, and the title went right back to DC, even though he just lost. And but like I said, no contest or not, he knocked him out. He got knocked out in their second fight. DC got KO'd clearly, where DC was trying to protest it afterwards, saying that he felt like he should have got hit a few more times when they could have stopped it a few punches prior from when they did. I mean, DC was completely KO'd. And it's funny because in the interview where 4 fighters were on stage, it was a press conference where they were sitting on stools. And it was Jon Jones, Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, and Daniel Cormier. And Daniel Cormier is funny because in that interview, on that press conference, DC actually said to Jon Jones that he will not kick him in the head with his left leg. That will not happen, that will be fixed. Now, this is being spoken about before their first fight. Okay, this is a press conference before their first fight. And in their second fight, now, from DC saying that he was going to fix that issue before their first fight, in their second fight, DC got KO'd. That all started with Jon Jones' left leg kicking DC in the head. That's where DC got badly rocked, and that was the beginning of the end. To where, Jon Jones was chasing him down. Eventually, DC hit the canvas, and Jon Jones was just landing bombs with his left hand. His left hand was just catching DC. He tried to catch him with the elbow to drop him a little lower, and it was just over. It was over with Jon Jones' left hand just dropping bombs down on DC's temple, and it was just over. And like I said, even though that one being a no contest, it doesn't matter. He still beat him twice. And DC has acknowledged that. DC has acknowledged that he got beaten twice, but this here would be an enormous fight, a huge moneymaker fight for both competitors, for the UFC. I mean, this will be a fight for the ages if DC were to fight Jon Jones at heavyweight. Now, if Jones fights DC at light heavyweight, it's going to be the same outcome. Jones is victorious and might knock him out again. I do believe so. But at heavyweight, if DC were to fight Jon Jones at heavyweight, I really do not know what will happen. I mean, Jones said himself that he wouldn't want to fight him at heavyweight because he doesn't want the odds to be in DC's favor. DC is undefeated and a totally different fighter at heavyweight. He's a natural heavyweight. He's a natural heavyweight fighter. And he's also, for those of you that don't know, he's the current heavyweight champion. Daniel Cormier is the current heavyweight champion, and he actually beat Stipe Miocic to become the heavyweight champion with a knockout victory in round 1, and actually also already defended the heavyweight title. And he defended it against Derek Lewis, where he ended up catching Derek Lewis in a rear naked choke. I honestly, if DC were to fight Jon Jones, I see DC possibly winning. I mean, I see because his strikes are going to be stronger. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jon Jones is going to go in there stronger as well. So I believe Jon Jones can also be victorious. I mean, I'm not saying Jon Jones is definitely going to lose. Those are strong words. But I do believe DC has what it takes, especially at heavyweight, to knock out Jon Jones and win. I mean, fairly early. But Jon Jones is too great to say that he would just go in there and just get KO'd. I'm not officially giving that prediction if they were to actually fight for a third time at heavyweight. And now, Jones was saying that he doesn't want to fight him at heavyweight, and DC was saying that he doesn't want to fight him at heavyweight for two different reasons. And DC just wants to beat him where he got beaten, which is at 205 light heavy. And, Jon Jones was saying that he doesn't want to go up there to fight him because he feels like it'll be making it personal. He doesn't want the odds to be in his favor. He said he already beat DC twice. There's really no reason to fight him again. But if DC wants to make the claim that he was the real champ, then come down to 205 and try to get his belt back if he thinks it's his belt, And here's my thoughts on the whole championship, aspect of this whole thing. DC was the light heavyweight champion when Jon Jones got in trouble outside of the octagon with all his troubles with testing positive, his, car accident, his, drug habits that he had, stuff like that. And so Jon Jones did not lose the belt in a fight with DC. DC fought Anthony Rumble Johnson at a light heavyweight fight for the vacant UFC light heavyweight title. And DC ended up being victorious and also defended it against Anthony Rumble Johnson the second time. I believe Anthony Johnson gave up, especially in their second fight, where he actually caught DC with a bomb in their first fight to where it looked like he was about to end it. But you know what? That's for another video. That I'm not going to sit here and talk about Anthony Rumble Johnson too much with DC, with their fight. But so DC actually won the title by not beating Jon Jones. He did not defeat Jon Jones. So let's call it exactly what it is. I mean, when he was the title holder at light heavy, he was not the real champion. He did not beat the champion to become the champion. I think a lot of you guys can agree with me, whether you like DC or not, where he was not the real light heavyweight champion. If Jon Jones did not get in trouble outside of the octagon, DC would not know what the light heavyweight title feels like or looks like. He would not know what it feels like to be the light heavyweight champion. And let's be honest here, because I feel like nobody has touched on this. Okay, and I have to mention this in this video. Please listen closely to this and let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really strongly want to know what you guys think. if DC did not become the light heavyweight champion. Now, DC became the light heavyweight champion, like I said, by not beating Jon Jones. He fought for the vacant title against Anthony Rumble Johnson. But DC only got the heavyweight title shot because Dana White is a big fan of the whole champ, aspect and, the whole chance of letting a fighter achieve greatness and giving them the opportunity. He's a big fan of that before he was against it. But DC being the light heavyweight champion while Jon Jones was out, he only got that heavyweight title opportunity, the heavyweight title shot, because he was the light heavyweight title. Now, I'm saying that he was the light heavyweight title holder, and I'm saying that with air quotes. Okay, but for him to be the light heavyweight champion at the time is the only reason why, and now, again, he was only the light heavyweight champion because Jon Jones was out, so that gave him the opportunity to go up to heavyweight to fight Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title. And the only reason why he got that fight was because he was the light heavyweight champion at the time. And he ended up beating Stipe Miocic, which makes him right now the current heavyweight champion. DC is the current heavyweight champion. If Jon Jones never would have gotten in trouble, DC would have never won the light heavyweight title, therefore not going up to skip the line at heavyweight to fight Stipe Miocic to become the heavyweight champion. It would not have happened, and I believe DC right now would not be a champion, period, unless he went up to heavyweight and got in line to be able to get himself a title shot against Stipe Miocic, meaning he would have had to face Francis Ngannou. He would have had to face, I could go down the list. He would have had to face a lot of heavyweights or a few top guys in order to even get the title shot against Stipe Miocic, which I don't believe he would have got past everybody. Now, yeah, I know he's the greatest he's ever been at heavyweight, and he's undefeated at heavyweight, and his only defeat is against Jon Jones at light heavyweight. But if he did not become the light heavyweight champion, if Jon Jones would have not gotten in trouble, Jon Jones would have beat DC twice, still stayed as champion, DC not the champion, and would have never got this opportunity to skip the line to fight for the heavyweight title. So he actually has to sit there and thanks to Jon Jones for getting in trouble so he can be the light heavyweight champion, defend it a couple times, and then end up fighting for the heavyweight title to try to become paper champ. Because he was the paper champ at light heavy and then became champ at heavy, but only because Jon Jones got in trouble and he was able to have that opportunity to fight. And I believe nobody out there has touched on this. Nobody out there, because he's a legitimate champion because he beat Stipe Miocic. Yeah, and I'm not arguing that. And I'm also not saying let's rain here on DC. DC gets a ton of my respect. But I'm just saying, I do not believe he would be the current heavyweight champion unless he got in line at heavyweight after leaving light heavyweight after losing to Jon Jones twice, if Jon Jones did not get in trouble for DC to become the light heavyweight champion fighting for the vacant belt. And I really want to know what you guys think on that, because I believe it's nothing but the truth. But if DC and Jon Jones were to fight at heavyweight, I really think it will be a tremendous moneymaker for the sport, for both men involved. And honestly, I am hoping that they fight again, which if they were to fight at light heavy, I would tune in. Of course, I believe everybody would tune in if they were to fight a third time at light heavyweight for the light heavyweight title with Jon Jones being the champion. But it would be much more exciting, much more excitement when you press that order button to see them fight at heavyweight. Now, the thing is, it's scary for DC, though. If Jon Jones were to go up as the light heavyweight champion to face Daniel Cormier at heavyweight for the heavyweight title, and Jon Jones were to beat DC and become the champ, what would DC do? I mean, DC would want to kill himself. I mean, he would just say, what the hell is going on? I can't beat this guy. And he took my title from heavyweight. He beat me at light heavyweight and heavyweight. That would solidify Jon Jones to be the pound for pound best. Like I said in my Jon Jones versus Thiago Santos video, if you guys didn't check that out, please check it out. I gotta be honest, Jon Jones is the GOAT. I believe Jon Jones is the GOAT. Put all his outside of the octagon troubles aside, the whole PD testing, whatever it is, testing positive. Jon Jones is the GOAT. I know a lot of people, and actually on the official rankings, the pound for pound great number one, they're saying is DC. And they're saying DC is deserving because he actually became champ while Jon Jones has never been champ yet and never fought at heavyweight just yet. He's a light heavyweight fighter as the light heavyweight champion. And Jon Jones is a perfect light heavyweight. He's a perfect weight for light heavyweight. I mean, he's like a full-size light heavyweight, and that is his best weight class to fight at. That's like his weight class where he's meant for. Like, he was made for that weight class. And I do not see anybody at light heavyweight beating Jon Jones. But if DC and Jon Jones were to fight at heavyweight, I do not know what will happen. I do believe DC will be able to win. Now, like I said, DC is considered the pound for pound number one, as Jon Jones being number two, because DC was the champ. I believe that that's the only... Well, there's two things that make DC the pound for pound greatest. Just before Jon Jones being number one, Jon Jones being number two, is because DC became champ, and DC was never in the conversation at all for testing dirty. Those are the only two reasons why DC is before Jon Jones. And Jon Jones not being a champ and testing dirty in the past, is putting him at that number two slot, when I really believe, and I know a lot of you guys agree with me, I know you guys out there do, that Jon Jones should just be number one. Put all the PD shit aside, champ shit aside. I mean, Jon Jones is definitely the pound for pound number one and the GOAT. And I do believe Jon Jones can win the fight, of course, against DC. I mean, they fought twice before, but this would be at a totally different weight class. And for DC to fight Jon Jones a third time at heavyweight, I believe is what everybody wants to see. And I know they will have to throw a lot of money at both those men in order to even take that fight. DC said himself that he believes he would do it, that Jon Jones would take that fight if offered to him. But, they would have to throw them a lot. I mean, Jon Jones was saying that he would have to get tossed a ridiculous amount of money, or both of them would have to get tossed a ridiculous amount of money in order to even take that fight. But, DC was saying he wants to fight him for a third time only at light heavyweight. And like I said, I know we will all tune in, but, damn well it would be much greater and much more exciting to press that button to order that fight if they were to fight a third time at heavyweight, not light heavyweight. Hopefully that can happen. Let's see if it does. But if not, I still would love to see them fight a third time and, see what happens in their third fight. DC was saying that he believes he would have won that second fight against Jon Jones if he wasn't talking trash during the fight, because he never does that. He has never did that before. He felt like he lost focus, and if he just would have stood focused, he would have won. No one knows, if that would have happened, but the fact that's right now that's in the history books is that DC lost twice to Jon Jones. And if they were to fight a heavyweight, that's what every fan out there wants to see. Let's try and make that happen, UFC. Dana White, make that fight happen. Jon Jones, accepted. DC, accepted. Let's see if that can become reality. But if not, hopefully they do fight again for a third time, even if it is that light heavy. And if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe. Leave what you think in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next one.